Hello everybody, Chatty Sparkly Runners, back for an episode about warming up, and we're just going to shoot this before we get rained on, I think, today.
Very dark day, bit of blue sky beyond us.
So, warming up, Colin, you've got a lot to say about warming up.
Well, when
You're going to start anyway.
Yeah. So there's a warming up section on the Leading in Running Fitness, which I've done a lot of times.
So why do we warm up? That's the most important thing, isn't it? Before we go running, why is it best to warm up?
Well, because it's got to. If you don't warm up and you set off very quickly, then you've got a big chance of getting injured. But let's talk about what happens to your body first when you warm up. Okay, so when you're at rest, your body is sending 2 litres of blood per minute to your running muscles. Most of your blood is around your essential organs and your digestive system.
Yep.
And then as soon as you start to warm up, lots of changes happen, which your brain automatically does. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to think, oh, I need to swap the blood from my digestive system to my muscles. Your amazing body does that all for you. So there are lots of changes that happen. First of all, it will switch the blood supply to the working muscles, and instead of having just 2 litres going through your working muscles, the blood will be switched from your digestive system.
That's where all the blood's
mostly, and it then transfers it over to your running muscles. So the blood capillaries will widen as more blood goes into your running muscles, and that blood going into your running muscles will literally warm your muscles up, and they will get warmer and they will get more supple, so they're less likely. So the other thing you've got to remember is your heart is a muscle. So the blood supply to your heart will increase once you start warming up. So if you set off for your run,
you just go straight
out and run fast because you're worried about your Garmin averages, then your blood supply to your heart hasn't developed, it hasn't increased as it would normally do, so your heart's working with a very reduced blood supply for what it wants, and that's not a good place to be. So it's really good to,
and that's why your heart rate goes through the roof to start with, because
it's one of the reasons. The other reason is you have to work when you warm up. You work through your 3 energy systems that we've gone through before. So you do a lactic, you've got 10-15 seconds of stored energy, and then you have to do your anaerobic energy because you're not getting enough oxygen to the muscles. And then after that, your aerobic system starts to use oxygen, and that can take up to 8 minutes for people. Yeah,
because that's something a lot of people talked about. We talked about it in one of our videos recently, didn't we, when we were down in Malvern? People saying, well, why is it that you get really breathy to start with, don't you, when you run? And you've just explained that. Yeah,
because you go anaerobic because you haven't got your aerobic system fired up.
So it's something that your body has to go through. But at the same time, if you warm up effectively,
it's not such a big shock to
your body. No. That's what we're saying, isn't it?
So the next question is, what warming up should you do?
Yeah.
What is a typical warm up? And the answer...
So the purpose of warming up is to get your body gradually used to those changes that you've just described.
Absolutely. And to do it gradually.
Not to shock it.
Exactly. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. Not to shock it.
Okay.
So what might be a typical warm up? And the answer to that is a typical question is it depends what you're doing.
Yeah. So, I've never thought about this before.
Hi.
Actually, it's true, isn't it? Hi. Some people getting home just before the rain, I think. Can you tell everybody where we are while we're waiting?
Oh yeah, okay. So I've deliberately come here because this is part of the Caradoc Classic Fell Race, and behind us is Caer Caradoc, and the race comes up the lane that's in front of us that you can't see, round this massive big field, up the hill, turns around, comes back again. And if you're good, you do it in under 25 minutes. But in order to do it in under 25 minutes, you have to warm up first.
Okay, so where were we? Yeah, a typical warm-up. To get your body prepared for your run so that you're not shocking it.
And it all depends on what you're doing. Yeah. So if you're doing for a gentle run, you should still warm up. But that you only have to warm up to the speed that you're going to run at in your session. So if you're doing a chatty run, you still need to warm up.
But you don't need to go out there and do 27 star jumps and get your pulse right up.
No,
do you?
no, you're not going to be
going
there.
there.
No.
You're not going there.
So what you need to do is just go for a walk to start
Yeah,
with.
that's what we're doing.
Go for a walk to start with, and then gradually go. After I went for a run in the week, and I just was going to walk, and I was going to walk for the first 15 minutes.
That's quite a long walk.
Oh yeah, and then what I was going to do was I walked and walked until I felt ready to run.
Yeah. That's
Until I listened to my body, and my body said, "Do you know what? I think you're ready to run now." And it took 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, I started to jog slowly,
Yeah.
and I jogged slowly for 5 minutes, and after 10 minutes, I could start running gently.
Yeah.
And that's a
Okay.
great start.
It's a
But
great
then
start.
people are frightened of doing that because of
Here we go.
their Strava averages.
Yeah,
Well, don't
I
start
know.
your Strava averages. Don't start your watch until you started your run, if that's what to do. I include my warm up in my
I
run.
do now as well. So 5 minutes. And
Is
I
that
start.
what-
Yeah, I do. I start the watch, do the 5-minute walk, then do probably a couple of jogs with a little walk rest until I feel ready
Yeah.
to
And that's
keep
what you do with
running.
your chatty sparkly runners. Your chatty
Yeah,
sparkly
we always do
runners.
5 minutes
Walking. Yeah, 5
We
minutes.
don't always do that because that's relatively new. Something new that
Yeah.
I do. Don't
If you-
always do
if
that.
you
But
would-
I think it's important just to do a little bit of a jog, then a walk,
Yeah.
a bit of a jog.
So there are two other sorts of warm-ups.
Yeah.
The warm-up for a faster session would be at least 12 minutes a walk, and then 12 minutes of jogging, and
Yeah.
then perhaps a few little dynamic stretches, not much, and then some strides, some sparkly bits, gradually increasing your speed until you feel ready to go. And then I would do 30 seconds at what I was going to perform at.
Yeah. So you're talking about if you're warming up to do a fast 5k, you're doing a race.
Yeah. And that would be so. As Shrewsbury Park Run, and I'm sure this is at park runs all over the place, is that I get there 8:15 for a 9 o'clock start, and I'll walk for 10 minutes because it's first thing in the morning, and I have to get, it takes me a long time to get ready. So then I'll start 10 minutes walking, and then I'll do another 10 minutes jogging, and there's no one there. I think, oh, it must be cancelled this week. And then I keep going, and I'll do my jogging, and I do 15 minutes jogging. And then there might be one or two other older runners plodding around, and hardly anybody else there. And then I'll do my sparkly bits to get ready, and then 5 minutes to go, everybody turns up. And
It's like magic, isn't it? They
Yeah.
just all come. Vroom,
and
like
I was
that.
concerned because I said to Paul
That's the
Bowes,
first time you did it.
yeah, I was concerned because I said to Paul Bowes, people aren't warming up here.
Yeah.
But the next time I went to the park run, I just didn't run it. I just watched what they were doing. They walked from their car to the start.
Yeah. So that's.
And then when I
good.
watched them start, they all started off fairly gently. We've had people not warm up because they don't know how to warm up, and then we've warmed them up and they've done the 5k. They normally run about 25 to 30 seconds
Wow.
faster. And the reason for that is, if you think about it, what I said right at the beginning
Yeah.
was that when they're starting running and they're not warmed up, they have restricted blood supply to their muscles, so the oxygen isn't getting to their muscles, so they're not ready to run, so they can't run as fast. So that first mile they're not going to run,
And that affects their time.
and if they'll be anaerobic, they're going to have to run without using oxygen because their oxygen system isn't ready. So you will significantly improve your
Quite
performance if you warm up properly.
And the key thing is warming up to the level of the type of run that you're going to do.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
would do exactly that warm-up that I've just said before the Caradoc Classic Fell race.
But for
which I-
chatty running, a nice walk.
Yeah, a
and a bit
walk,
of a jog.
jog. And the other thing is, we do see people do some really quite dynamic, what I would call
Yeah.
plyometric
Do you
bounding
know what? I
type
think
exercises.
that might be next week's video. Let's talk
Okay.
about a little bit more about warming up
Okay,
and exercises that you could do.
yeah, and I'll do a few
And you can
demonstrations.
demonstrate, and we'll make sure it's not going to rain.
Yeah.
So don't forget our website www.chattysparklyrunners.co.uk and our Facebook group. Please join us and ask us any questions you'd like you've got about warming up. If you've got any questions, or you've got a good warm up that you do that you want to share, that would be good. Wouldn't
Yeah, there have been a couple of times in previous ones where we've set off and we haven't warmed up, and I've been demonstrating going chatty, and I've been breathy
it? Yeah.
because I hadn't warmed up. because you go through that phase.
Yeah, a little bit.
Have a go, have a walk, and listen to your body when you're ready to.
Experiment with your warm up. Find out what's best for you.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, brilliant. More about this then next week.
I'm off to the top of the hill now. Hang on, let me show you where it is. There it is. That's not actually the top. It's nowhere near the top. The top's a lot further than that.
False tops.
Okay.
Okay, see you
Bye.
next week.